Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the final lesson of split stroke month. Now, if you haven't seen any of the other videos, that's not necessary to understand this one. However, if you'd like a little bit more context, then do watch the introduction linked right here. You can go and watch that now or after this video. But the short version of that video is that we're basically taking a very old, traditional, yet very intrinsic ukulele playing style that's sort of been forgotten about, taking it from the past and bringing it into the present by presenting it in new contexts. So far we've looked at ways of playing it in a more classical, in terms of classical music style, and we've looked at how we can play it in different forms of jazz as well. The final thing I'd like to do really is a little bit more experimental, and that adding parts to the split stroke. So far our split stroke has always looked like this: a full down strum, then we catch the A string on the way up and then bounce off the G string just like that, with the hand still finishing above the strings, ready to go again. Down, catch, bounce, down, catch, bounce, down, catch, bounce. And remember as well, as we catch the A string, whatever finger is on the A string is lifted off as well. So a G7, that finger on the A string is lifting off too. So far the split stroke has always been a three-part technique. But today we're going to explore some ways that we can expand and contract the split stroke by adding and removing components to see what that does, and perhaps consider some ways that we can use that in our arrangements and our own original compositions. Unlike in the previous lessons, if you've seen them, where we've learnt a specific song, this is a bit more of an experimental idea. This is something that I'm still developing myself, and it's a technique that I've sort of come up with after experimenting with the split stroke, so I'm yet to see how it can be used. Maybe this is a complete waste of time, but hopefully at least we'll be able to use some of it in the world of coming up with our own songs, or even soloing in a jazz context. So first of all, let's consider how we make the three-part split smaller. Well, we've got three things to play around with, so we can use any combination of those three things, even, there we go, to create a two-beat split. So we've got our full down and our partial up. That could be a thing, just go round those a few times. And already I'm hearing fire engine sirens. What about the partial up and the bounce? This is perhaps not as useful a technique, because it's just a complicated way of just plucking. So I'm not entirely convinced by that, but then again, you might be. And then of course we've got the full down and then bounce. But I like to think of a two-beat split as using the first two components. Makes the most sense ergonomically, and it's the most efficient, and it also doesn't necessarily have an easy counterpart that we could just default to instead. Okay, we've got the two-beat split and the three-beat split. We're going to look at a four-beat split now. And by the way, when I say beat, this doesn't necessarily mean a beat. We could be talking about quavers or crotchets or even minims. But I take the word from the world of tap dancing, of all things. We have four-beat riffs, five-beat riffs, and I'm using this kind of idea here as well. How could we add something that we're not already doing to the split stroke? Well, my first instinct was to use pull-offs. This is, I get the idea, because we're already lifting our finger off to add to the melody. Why not do a pull-off and make that an extra component? So we'd be going down, and then the finger comes off, but we actually drag the string with it. So this hand's not doing anything. Start as a C chord, pull that finger off, and take the string with it. and then you do your partial up and your bounce. Or we can actually replace it with another note behind it. So quite often what we can do, if we're playing a C chord, you can actually keep a finger on the 2nd fret at the same time, which is a B note, and when you pull off that ring finger to release that B note. Then you take that finger off for the partial up and then a bounce. That way you get a nice descending scale, a proper melody then. That sound kind of reminds me of wedding bells. Given the notes are all over ringing in a sort of campanella style, definitely makes me think of church bells after a wedding. Use this idea infinitely. We don't have to play notes behind, but we could even go up. What about if we put a finger, use our 1st finger as a C chord, and then we have another finger on the 5th fret. Or even, can you put a finger on the 7th fret? Kind of sounds a bit cheesy then. A nice little ending. Hi, this is the Formby Fundamentals course with me, Matthew Quilliam. I've been studying and playing the George Formby style pretty much all of my ukulele playing career, ever since I was 11 years old. Since then I've gained a deep understanding into the mechanics of how all of the Formby style works, and in the last few years I've been teaching workshops and private students about how to play the Formby style, and so I've got a lot of experience and know-how as to how to get across all of this information to you in the most fun, approachable and accessible way. This is the course for you if you've never played George Formby before, or maybe just a little bit and you're feeling a little bit lost, and by the end of the course you'll be able to play a coherent George Formby style solo. Through 2 hours of videos split up across 40 lessons and 7 modules, this is a step-by-step guide from getting you from zero to being able to play a really great sounding George Formby solo. So head over to matthewquilliam.co.uk to begin your ukulele journey today. So that's a 4-beat split. If we've got a bar of 4/4, we can do each of these notes as a beat in this case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But we could play these as 8th notes as well and have 8 of them in a bar. So you have 2 of these 4-beat splits next to each other. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And you could even alternate between different notes with each consecutive split. So here's the 7th and the 3rd, then the 5th and the 3rd, then 3 and 2, and then 2, open. So that sounds quite cool. A kind of descending cascade. I really like that sound. Almost kind of makes me think kind of oriental, kind of, you know, a bit kind of Eastern as well. So something to play around with there for sure. Okay, what about a 5-beat split? Now the number 5 isn't as easy to incorporate as the number 4 is, but I don't see any reason why you couldn't play 5 and 3. That still adds up to 8, and with 8 8th notes in a bar, that makes perfect sense. 5 and 3. This is perhaps better for syncopation, where we've got uneven groupings of notes, a 5 and a 3. And for these 5s, I would add another pull-off. So the 5-beat split, what I'm going to do is we're going to learn this shape where we've got a finger on the 3rd, the 5th and the 7th fret all at once on the A string. We do our full down, then pull off with the little finger for the second part, then another pull off of that 5th fret there, and then that's got 3 components, so then we've just got to do our partial and then our bounce. And like I said, we can put 5 with 3, so the 3 would be a normal split stroke. So putting it all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All sorts of combinations that you can do there. Another way that you can put a 5-part or a 5-beat split into a nice easy bar of 4/4 is actually condense some of the notes and play them faster than others. So we've got that triplet, which is the down strum, then 2 quick pull-offs, and then the rest of it slow again. Something else I quite like to do is alternate that 7 with the 6. So 3 and 5 stay the same, but you start with a 7, and then the 6, then 7 again, then 6. You do need quite a lot of right hand strength and coordination for this, so don't worry if that's getting in the way. Just practice pull-offs on their own before you add the right hand back in. I'm sure there are plenty of other variations and permutations and expositions of this technique, but I'm just going to present these here for now because, like I said, I want this to be a bit of an experiment. Please take these ideas away and have a play around with them. And if you come up with anything, upload a video and send it to me in the comments. I'd be very interested to hear and see what you come up with. As the final part of this, I'm going to do a little solo over a little chord progression using a mixture of 2, 3, 4 and 5 beat splits. Just a little pluck of the C string there to end. I just made that up. That was a complete sort of experiment there, and already I've come up with some ideas that I could perhaps use in other places. Original compositions, soloing, whatever you want to do. And that is the end of Split Stroke Month, but that is by no means the end of this new style. In fact, I hope that these videos will act as a springboard for you to come up with your own ideas, maybe new styles of playing the split stroke, or maybe using something I have taught you in a new context. Please take these ideas away and let me know what you come up with. If you'd like to see some more of these videos from Split Stroke Week, then start here with the introduction to the context. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.